and welcome to In Heat with Bonnie Boux. Oh, Jesus, there she is now. Go on. Buckle up, baby. Let's do this.
Tell me about your sex life.
Well, I'm very glad you asked, Dan. Dan's our sound man there. Big clap for Dan. So, welcome to In Heat with Bonnie Boux. This is our first episode, which, deserves a bit of a boulabus. You too, Dan, go on. Dan's clapping there. Well done. Thanks, Dan. Thanks. And we said, you know what? We're going to get straight in with a topic. Hot topic. Deserves the shoes to be taken off. That's right. Drum roll. Sex. And not what you're thinking. More so, the lack of it in my life personally. Cue violence. So, I wanted to talk about what I feel there is to be this kind of expectation and almost like a pressure of the amount of sex you should be having. Should being the wrong word. You shouldn't do anything. You do you. Go with your own flow, at your own pace. We know this in everything in life. But sex is a big one. It's kind of like, when you were little and someone was like, have you ever gone off with someone? Which, it's like kissing with tongues for other counties and countries. We might be international, Dan, so I have to, include the Americans. Have you ever courted someone? And you'd be like, yeah, like, you just don't know them, like, it's on my holidays. And you're like telling someone when you're really young that you got with someone, but they're on holidays, you wouldn't know them, Because of this immediate shame of like an embarrassment that you're not like up to scratch or normal unless you are being like sexually active. So that's going back to like young days. I remember I used to have this guy in my biology class used to fucking annoy. Do you know what? I wouldn't say annoy the shit out of me. It was actually borderline upsetting me how he used to pressure question me all the time about whether I was a virgin or not. And it's actually quite upsetting because it almost would, depending on the type of person you are, the support you have around you, what way you could go with that, And you don't want to be doing anything for the expectations of other people, I'm going off on another tangent there. But now we're going to roll into the adult life where I'm assuming a lot of people may have had sexual intercourse. And a question that gets asked, it could be a bunch of people. It's like, when's the last time you had sex? And you're thinking, oh, everyone's different. It could be yesterday, it could be 5 minutes ago. For me, I think, I was trying to do the maths today actually, and I couldn't really think about it. I think it's 1.5 years ago. And to me, that is not an issue whatsoever. Like, I just do not see it as a negative thing. I don't see it as anything. I just see it as a neutral statement, as like something that's just part of my life. Now, just disclaimer here. I'm just a 33-year-old potato sharing her experiences, and I am not shaming nor saying that this is the way it should be. But speaking on behalf of people that may be like me or feel like me, there is no right or wrong way to have a sex life, is what I mean. So if you are riding around the clock, yeehaw, daddy, good for you. I'm happy for you. If you're a serial shagger on the weekends, good on you. Good on you, mate, right? But if you're someone who isn't, good on you too. As long as you're doing it by your choice, and choice is the most important word here, then it's all great, So it's not an active choice of mine personally that I haven't had sex in 1.5 years, but it's not an active choice that I feel like I need to go and change that either. It's just, I live day by day, present living. If I meet someone tomorrow and they want to take me up on the sexual intercourse, and I feel like it, I'm not blocking myself off from options. But I think one of the main reasons for me is, in order for me now in my older years, I've had many one-night stands, lads, and they're for me no more. And it's funny because some people would argue, and I don't think it should be an argument, again, it's personal experiences. Some people would say that having sex is very spiritual for them, and it's about connecting with other people, and it opens up this beautiful moment. I think it all comes down to the individual, and you got to ask yourself, why are you doing it? If you're doing it because you think you should, or you've gotten this far and you're like, God, I better just give it to them now because they bought me 5 drinks, so I better just do it. We've all been there as well. So, you know, it's always about choice. But for me personally, I do not enjoy sex, and that was like a very honest like moment I had with myself. I do not enjoy sex unless it is with someone that I feel connected. I don't have to be in love with them. They just have to tell me I'm pretty. I love being we all love compliments, don't we? We love being complimented, especially during sex. Great. But I just need to feel just that like trust, that like groundedness, respect. Know that they're respecting me, and they don't have to respect me for the rest of my life. They just have to respect that moment, and it could be just that moment and then you part away, and that's fine. And I just haven't met that in a long time, so therefore I'm not actively seeking just for the sake of the act of sex. It's like if it comes along and it feels right, yes, and if it hasn't come along, then it's a hard no. A very hard no. Insert dildo. So I suppose what I would love to spread as a message to people that may be feeling like they are not as living their best life, or not being this free adult having sex, and their sex life is non-existent, and people are gasping when you have a few drinks and you tell them, because they ask that question, because it seems to be a question people ask, and you're almost embarrassed by the answer. I suppose it's to start looking inside and being like, it's totally okay. Now, a whole other topic off this is, not a topic, but like a side. Some people are actively maybe not having sex, or because, there could be illness, or, healing, or stress, etc. That's like another discussion with that. But for your run-of-the-mill missionary humping, you know what I mean? If you're not jumping, it's okay. So join me in being okay with not being a sexually active band geek, and there's pleasure everywhere. This is another thing as well. Like, there's pleasure to be found in so many places. And I feel like if you start seeking pleasure in other places, your mind expands to enjoy life so much that, again, some people really crave and need sex. Beautiful, go you. Everyone has different drives and wants, But you could find yourself really enjoying other things, that it isn't going to be that number one thing, like truck hitting your head being like, hello, it's been a while, and so have the sexual intercourse because you really want to, and not because you feel like you need to change your timeline of the last time you had it because people have made you feel like you should have had sex by now. That's a long time to wait. Sure, Jesus, it must be closed up. Sure, there must be cobwebs down there. Sure, Jesus, No, you're fine. And that's only speaking for people's vaginas, of course, Don't know if penises close up. Dan? We'll talk about it afterwards. So for me, for my emotional flaps, my vulnerable vulva, my whispering eye, they're fine. They're loved. They're having a great time. And maybe one day soon, the corned beef curtains will be opened, and they'll be on stage, and they'll have a standing ovation. Oh, I like that one. I just made that up. Standing ovation. And they may break the fourth wall. Artistic people know what I'm on about there. So yeah, thanks for listening. Have the best sex, have no sex, have all the sex. No shame if you're shagging everything. No shame if you're not shagging nothing. Shame in the bin. Have a good time. Protect yourself. Drink water. Slay bitch. Thank you for Let's Talking About Sex, or lack of.